Football Fusion is a very popular game right now, surpassing 18,000 players right now. It's also a really hard game to learn. So this is a tutorial on how to play the game and the basic mechanics on it. First step is you want to go to the options and go to teleport to practice, because practice will make it a lot easier than actually playing in the game, basically. First, we're going to talk about the basic controls and like how you play the game, basically. So first, we have diving. This is to tackle somebody, basically. So you press E to tackle somebody. So I'm sure there's some mobile options or something, but I have no idea because I don't play on mobile. To jump into, you just gotta jump and tackle to get to have like the highest tackle. I'm actually in my own private server too. That's kind of cool. That's just basically diving. Next is blocking. For blocking, you have to press X to block. It's mostly to block against your opponents, to like, you know, so you want to prevent your quarterback from being sacked, so you can block them. It's a pretty useful feature that you should probably know to use. Last, we have catching. So you can either press C or you can press the click button, the right click, I'm pretty sure, to catch the ball. Obviously, you need to know this to actually catch the ball. Catching and wide receiver is really important, so I'd make sure to stick around for that. Next, we have positions. I'm going to be naming quarterback, wide receiver, and just defense in general. Those are just mostly the three main ones. I'm not going to be naming running back because that's just running it. It's not that hard. So I'll be naming quarterback first. First up is obviously quarterback. To practice here, you have to press start, then you have to press the ball to quarterback, basically. You see this power beat right here? You can use it to go up in whatever you want. I'd recommend if it's pretty, like, let's just say you're throwing it pretty long, then you most likely want to do it on like the highest power and throw it as high as you possibly can, basically. It's a really hard position. Also, it's kind of hard to teach. It's more about like knowing mechanics and all that stuff, basically. That was a pretty cool shot. I'm not the best at quarterback, as you can see, so I don't really know much about quarterback. It's a really hard task to do as a new player, though. You have to really get used to it, and it's all about the mechanics, basically. Second up is one of the easiest, in my opinion. It's not that hard to master. It's catching. So you can go to this, it's called fade. You can click start, and all you need to do, right, is to jump and click on the ball. It's really not that hard. There's some other tricks to go to it, like diving and catching it. That's a pretty hard one to master, but otherwise then it's just clicking it to catching it. My recommendations is that whenever you see the ball coming up, you have to align yourself with the ball and go a little bit forward from the ball. So you go like this, I would say. Then you can easily catch the ball without somebody stealing it. It's just a little bit hard to catch it, but it's worth it, I would say. To dive and catch it, all you need to do is jump, dive back. You have to time it well. If you can't make it, that's on quarterback. You can't really do much about that. But that's basically the basics of catching the ball. Next, we have defense. So for defense, I would recommend for sacking, go into shift lock and go like this as your camera angle. This makes it super easy to sack and to block passes. I'm not the best at sacking or blocking passes, but I'm okay. So that's basically how you pressure the quarterback into throwing it to our territory. Here's another cool, we're punting, dang it. Okay, I'll show you another video clip soon. Okay, so here's another way of sacking people. So if they're in first person and kind of predictable, you can go on the very edge and just sweep them, basically. Obviously, my team's pretty bad, so we can't really... I see that they're going right, so I'm just going to go the other direction. That's another strategy you can use for sacking. For interceptions, I would just say to stay on your defender at all time. Like, at all times, like, let me just say, this is my defender. Stay with him at any time. And also kind of go into shift lock to see where he's going. That's just my recommendation for defense. Now for game passes. So you want to go back into the game, then click on the shop icon, Then here are all the game passes. I'll be explaining each and every one of them. First, we have customization. Customization is basically you get to design your character. So like that's where everybody gets sleeves and all that stuff from. It's pretty popular, and no offense, but most people throw to the people with sleeves because they most likely play more. Second, we have auto cap. Basically, what auto cap does, it automatically picks you as a captain, so you get to be automatically captain every single time, unless 3 people or more have captain. It's a pretty useful feature if you want to be with your friends and stuff. Next up, we have fullback. I don't have that much knowledge about fullback, but all I really know is that it's really hard to get tackled if you have fullback. If you use it once, you can only use it once in like a period of time, basically. And fullback is mostly for running backs, I would say. It's pretty useful for running backs if you get tackled all the time. You can use it at the perfect time. Next is hit stick. Hit stick is a really important one. Basically, when somebody jumps, or like in general, if they're like walking in a direction like that, they would get fumbled. It makes it animation too, so you can tell if it's hit stick or not. It's basically makes tackling a lot easier if you want to get fumbled. The disadvantage to hit stick is that if you do it and you miss, you instantly fall over, and it's pretty hard to land too. So you can't dive, you can't jump and dive and then do hit stick. It's really hard to use. Next is pump fake. Basically, pump fake is for quarterbacks. You fake throwing it. That's basically all it does. It sometimes confuses the interceptor, but it's not really that important unless you want to look cool. Last is celebrations. Obviously, celebrations. You can still have like these 2 celebrations, but with money you could get all these celebrations. So after you score a touchdown, let's just say, you can play the Grog Spike, the Gritty, all of that stuff. And that is the basic tutorial. Thank you guys so much for watching. Had a lot of fun making this video. Hopefully this helps you out in any shape or form, because I've been playing Football Fusion for a while now. It started out as Legendary Football, then it formed into Football Fusion. This game's a lot of fun, and trust me, after learning all this and practicing for a while, trust me, this is such a fun game to play. It gets intense at some parts, the score. It's such a fun game. So I hope you enjoy it, and goodbye.